Hello everyone and welcome back to another session of Dark Souls 3 Focused PvP. Today we are focusing. Oh, boo. Cheesy shield tactics. Boo. Cheesy shield backstab tactics. So silly. So silly. I hate that that's a thing. I really do. But that's just the way that it is. Another reason that great shields are just too good. Oh well. Oh well, these things happen. So, first off, I do want to thank you guys for those of you who expressed concern over my attitude and demeanor and all of that in the end of the last video. I do appreciate that you guys were concerned over me. I'm honestly surprised that the microphone didn't pick up what was going on, but basically I just got a bit of unfortunate news about a family member passing away, so I'm fine. Everything's as fine as it's going to be with that. So that's what happened. For those of you who are curious, we'll leave it at that. So it is what it is. Doesn't help to dwell on it. So we're here to play some Dark Souls. That's what we'll do. And we'll mess around with this stupid thing. I like that it has a R2 that's, good for covering wide areas. I really do like that. It, in a way, reminds me of the Dark Souls 1 War Pick. I don't, however, like that when you actually... Okay. I don't like that when you actually infuse it, or rather buff it. It doesn't get happy. What I mean by that is that it has a bit of a conniption. With the buff and War Cry. You really can't do 3 in a row. It's bad for your health. Get it? No, so close. Shouldn't have gone for that jump. Basically, if you put on Karthus and you use Warcry with this weapon, Warcry overrides the Karthus and takes it off. So you don't get the extra bleed, it seems like. And that isn't 100% of a confirmed thing. It appears to be that way. I don't know if it actually is, but it seems like it when I use the Karthus. Because it seems like it just doesn't last as long when you do this. It knocks it off. And Warcry only lasts for a few seconds. And Resins last for a lot longer. But when this wears off, you'll notice that the resin has also worn off, as you can see. So Warcry shouts off your buff. I'm not a fan of that. I'm not a fan of that at all. Dark Drift, though. So really it's one or the other. Get an awesome moveset or actually aim for bleeding people. And that is unfortunate. That got me good. Yeah, this weapon's range is kind of bad. The fact that you can't use Warcry and buff is kind of bad. And the damage on it is okay, but you're never going to bleed someone unless you use Karthus Resin on it. And the Karthus Resin wears off when you use the Warcry, so it's like, There are so much, like, these other weapons in the class, even the regular mace completely outclasses it. Look at the damage difference. That's almost 80 damage difference. That's huge. Like, that's just an absolutely massive difference in damage and attack rating. So, honestly, this is just not a good weapon. At least in the previous games, it would stand up to the mace. It had that going for it. It would be more on the lines of the Morningstar. But even the Morningstar completely outclasses it, because the Morningstar has bleed, and it has perseverance, which is just amazing. So even though this has a really cool moveset, with its skill being Warcry and giving it a unique set of R2s, it's a bad weapon. And I hate to say it, but it just is. I mean, at least you get some decent armor on that attack. It's a bit of a shame that that missed. Track me on that jump. There's another death. Add to the list. All things said and done, I think I did pretty decently in that fight. It's just the way it goes. On the bright side, at least our next weapon will be, well, significantly better. Even though it is just straight up worse than the Black Knight Halberd. Or Black Knight Glaive. I mean, honestly, we were talking about it on my stream. This thing weighs more and deals less damage with an identical moveset. And as far as the reach is concerned, yeah, its reach might be a tad bit longer, but for the weight difference being, 2 units of weight, the attack rating being from 490 down to 477, it's not that much of an attack rating difference, to be fair, but that's enough to make a difference. It's 13. Yeah, that's 13, right? Yeah. We have a Merc. No, not a Markumo. That's a Karthus. You like the R1s, friend. You like the R1s a tad too much. You shouldn't have lived, though. One missed parry on low stamina. Jeez. I knew he'd walk into it. He likes his R1s too much. He walked straight into that. I mean, it's not a bad weapon, the Glaive. It's really not, but it's just completely outclassed. It just doesn't make much sense. And then there's Gunders for 1 more weight. No, 2 more weight. And... Eh. It just doesn't make much sense to go with the Glaive over the Black Knight Glaive, and that's disappointing. If it had a different skill instead of Spin Sweep, maybe. I feel like that would give it some other benefits. Like... What? Sounds odd. Blue, red dragon. Solid dodge on that. Should have unlocked on that. Ooh, nice parry. Gotta give props for that. That was a good parry. I am quite surprised that, although that was the tick from the second one being a partial, not from the first hit. I thought for a second that was a tick of damage from the first swing of it, and that confused me because he shouldn't have been able to poise through that to get the parry, but that was actually a partial parry. He had a second part of the swing, so that makes more sense. Yeah, that was a really good parry. I'd like the losing streak to end sooner rather than later, so I really should start playing a little bit better. But, oh well. I was going to say something about the weapon. Regarding the skill. If it had even a charge, even if it had the charge, just the standard charge, not champion's charge, then that alone would make it unique. Solid rock throw. Nice. And now the losing streak has ended, so we can actually start to do good again. I like that. I liked what he was doing, though. That was a unique fight. I've never fought against someone actually trying to use pyromancy in that manner. And using the boulder heave, I believe, is that what that one is called? That's a really cool little pyromancy. I liked that. See, I'm used to people who go for that animation where they sort of, you know, put their arms out and, like, inhale. I'm used to that being the mist attacks. You know, poison mist, all that sort of stuff. And those, I'm used to running through them to just go and backstab the person. Because that's just what you've always done to punish that. But Boulder Heave, that just turns that punishment on its head. So, realistically, you could actually mix that into Acid Mist and all that. Acid Mist, Poison Mist. and the person would fall for it pretty easily. Ooh, nice. That should have at least been a trade in my opinion, and that's death. Did you hear that ting? It sounded like it tinged as though it, like, hit my shield. That's odd. That's very odd. I wonder what caused that. I mean, I was holding block, but I don't even have the ability to move at that point in time. Do you think that... Okay, I need to test that sometime. So basically, if that's the case, if it actually was able to hit me, and me holding my shield caused it to ting, does that mean my shield actually took a portion of that damage? And if so, is that a regular thing you can do? Because if it is, that would be a stupidly easy way to reduce the amount of damage you take on those 2-hit combos from Ultra Greatswords. Like, that would be a stupidly easy way to do it. That will require some testing. If anyone knows on any more info on that offhand, let me know. That's a bit better. Alright, let's get another one. I really need to stop losing though. Like, honestly, I need to start playing better. It's just one of those days where I'm struggling for no real good reason. I mean, to be fair, struggling with this thing, that's a good reason alone. But with the standard Glaive, you know, just because it's not the best for what it is, just because it has slightly lower damage and a little bit more weight, doesn't mean I should be struggling with it this much. I just am. But it'll be okay. We'll turn it around a little more. What do you have? Already buffing up. Tell me it's not another katana. It's another... No, that's not a katana. No, that's totally a katana. That's a chaos blade. I've got it. Might as well use it. Wow, that's totally not a katana. There we go, nice little magic pixel. 2. Yeah, hard to deal with straight swords. Never an easy weapon, especially when someone knows what they're doing and only goes for the R1s and R2s as far as going for the R1, R1, then the R2, trying to get the roll catch on it. That voice crack, though, wow. Now my voice is starting to fade out. See, this is what I get for talking all day long. Blah, blah, blah. Okay. That's a bit better. That is a little bit better. My throat's been bothering me all day just because I've been talking so much, and my allergies have been bothering me. I got my allergy shots finally, so I'm good for another 6 months. So that should start helping shortly. Now that is interesting. I'm very surprised that the startup of a skill from fist weapons actually is able to poise through the startup of a skill from a halberd class weapon. That is surprising to me. But like I've said, you know, you can't tell these things until you actually see them happen. That's one thing I really don't care much for with hyper armor. You don't know just by looking at a person how they'll be able to poise through your attacks, for lack of a better way of saying it. You don't know how they'll be able to actually take advantage of those hyper armor frames by looking at them and what they're using, because it varies so much. Like, I never would have guessed that fist weapons could hyper armor through a halberd. I almost called it the scythe. It's not Dark Souls 1 or 2. That's actually really odd. That oh, the range on Gunders gets me every time. Got me. But, like, you know what I'm talking about, guys? You understand where I'm coming from with that? Like, you can't look at a weapon and instantly know, oh, okay, it's got this, this, and this as far as its poise. You can't tell that because it doesn't always make sense. Like, a fist weapon with any attack, it should not be able to poise through something from a halberd. If it can do it for a halberd, it can do it for a greatsword. If it can do it for a greatsword, it can do it for an axe or a hammer. At least that's what would make sense. Except I've actually stunned people out of that exact same attack with a warpick, which is a hammer class weapon. It's just, you know, it doesn't always add up the way you would think it would. It's hard to tell. So, that's one thing I miss about Dark Souls 1 and the way they had poise in Dark Souls 1. It wasn't a perfect system, it was far from it. But you could always look at someone and have an idea of how much poise they had at any given point in time. You could always tell just by looking at them and seeing what armor they had on, and if they had an aura from the wolf ring. Okay, I get it, you're a mage, but come on, man. No, you're not gonna go for that? Oh my god. Just give me a roll catch or something. Okay, that was a good one. That last far and flash sword. My firebomb was slightly far to the right. Ugh, so much running around. I get it, he's a mage, he has to keep his distancing. Ugh. Just, ugh. And he doesn't have any other options either. See, that's one thing that Dark Souls 2 did decent with mages. You actually had some area of effect spells that were good, and you could use those to your advantage. You use those to help you keep your distance instead of just running and running and running. Like, that helped so much in Dark Souls 2. And we don't have those options anymore. Clerics do. Clerics have a lot of area of effects. But sorcerers, they don't really have much of anything. I mean, you've got the Hail, but that's about it. And that's not enough. One spell that doesn't do a very good job, that's not enough. Give it at least, 2 spells that don't do a very good job. A lot of Black Knight greatswords out of the Ultra variety. A lot of people are going for that attack now, simply due to the fact that it actually has a free combo. And death. He actually thought to trade that time. I was hoping he would roll again. Yeah, I don't have a good set of weapons for dealing with that easily. The weapon I would like to use to deal with it would be the shorter weapon in this case. That way you could actually stay in close and, why did I do that? You could stay in close and stick to the sides of your opponent. It doesn't really work all that well with such a long weapon, and my short weapon is slower and really, really short, so that doesn't help out anything either. Because you really can't roll catch too terribly well with it. I just need one more fight, game. One more fight and then we'll end it there. Also, on that note, next time we're going to be using the soldering iron because I hate myself, and we're also going to be messing around with the I had one in mind. I did. I don't remember what it was. Anries. We're going to mess around with Anries. Because, again, I hate myself. So it's going to be pleasant-ish? Kinda? Except not really. Not at all. lot. Yeah. Once I blocked that first hit, there was nothing I could do. Bad times. Very bad times. He didn't even use Goddard's two-handed either, which is the odd part about it. He used it just like a regular longsword, and that's honestly enough. It's harder to deal with when someone actually uses it like that than when they use it as a dual sword, because if they use dual swords, you know what to expect. When they use it as a regular longsword, it's got the regular longsword moveset, but with longer reach. Less damage, but that reach is enough. So, it was a good fight. It was a solid parry. It's a dangerous weapon either way you use it. So, this is what it is. Either way though, guys, that's it for today. Lots of losses. I apologize, but, you know, the weapons I was using, they just did not complement each other well. The scythe, I guess I wasn't... The glaive. I was not feeling the glaive today. It just is what it is. And the hammer, the reinforced club, that thing's just bad, so... There's no good thing about it that I can personally find. In theory, it's got some good things, but in practice, not so much. So, oh well. That's all we can say. Either way, though, guys, I hope you enjoy the video despite all of the losses. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all next time.